Billionaires became wealthier as a result of the global crisis. Meanwhile, small businesses and the middle class got destroyed as part of the Great Reset. New all-time record fraud. $600, house arrests, and a global pandemic for the tax slaves and record bonuses for Wall Street degenerates yet again. Makes sense. As long as there are bets, the casino will remain open. The top 1% of Americans got richer, and more than 60 new billionaires were created during the stock market melt-up of 2020. 2020 proved with absolutely no doubt that these are not markets. They are 100% central bank Ponzi schemes. A sick joke abomination. Central bankers have destroyed everything and belong in a noose. A comical year for comical US markets. And despite major manipulation going on in the gold and silver market, gold outperformed the markets in 2020. Gold price from the 1st of January to the 31st of December 2020, a 24.7% return. "15-year average, a 10.8% return. Beats a whole lot of things you could have invested in, including US Treasuries, with no counterparty risk at all. S&P 500 on the 1st of January 2020 to 3,237. S&P 500 on the 31st of December 2020 to 3,756. Just under 16% return for 2020. What are stocks backed up by? An office with a table and a dozen chairs, a CEO's Swiss bank account you will never see. China owns it all the real assets like factories that used to make a company worth something are gone. Your stocks are worthless. Every year is a great year for gold, going back thousands and thousands of them. The Fed has just been kicking the can down the road. The longer they have been, the bigger the day of reckoning and the more debt that will be accumulating. If only they would have done the right thing years ago. Fewer of these bailouts, less government spending, and not artificially manipulating interest rates would be a start. People say there's no inflation, but we can't go off the GDP reported doesn't include food and energy. Inflation has trickled into the stock market bubble and asset bubbles such as housing. Just go down to your local grocer to find out also. We will most likely see a deflationary collapse first. Housing, commercial buildings will collapse, job losses will continue to mount, and the rest of these bubbles will finally be popping. We may get one more historic bond market top before that bubble blows. The small measly stimulus will not stop it. The Fed and the government are way behind the curve and way too slow to react. When it collapses, then the real money printing will commence. Is it the price of Bitcoin going up, or are people starting to realize that the dollar is worthless? No way does this house of cards makes it another year. Get ready, peasants. It is going to be rough. Welcome back to the Atlantis Report. You are here for your daily dose of the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Please take a second to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to also hit the notification bell. 2020 was an effed up year, no doubt about it, and it was all planned, the pandemic, controversial election, etc. But hey, we have 2021 to look forward to, and our lives planned out by degenerate billionaires bent on genocide. Other than that, Happy New Year. What did we learn during 2020? The globalists and deep state are sufficiently organized, the corruption is so deep, there is no difference between most Republican and Democrat politicians, the media is completely corrupted by Chinese money and corporate interests. You can't trust public health officials because they are at their core sell-out politicians. The progressive takeover of our education system will fundamentally alter our country, if not now, in the very near future. I learned that while Tesla cars can spontaneously combust, its share price was also on fire in 2020. Toilet paper was more valuable than civil liberties to most people. Mindless virtue signaling is more important than standing up for what is right. It is mathematically impossible to repay 30 trillion in national debt. The mathematical impossibility of paying off the totality of the debt is a persistent feature of this odious fiat Ponzi wherever the balance du jour may presently clock in at. Part of how we got here. Governments will continue to debase their currencies while still incurring debt. The only thing shrinking more than a bag of potato chips on the store shelves is the US dollar. The dollar is a buckshot duck. There's no reason why it can't break support and headway down to 80 on the index by mid-year. And they have no ability to make the dollar stronger. Given the debt load, they probably don't have the desire to do so either. All of the money for rich friends, special interests, overseas handouts are already being paid. The only folks who get the shaft are the American people. Gives you an idea of how much contempt Washington, D.C. has for Americans if it struggles with handing out chump change to Americans in need yet has plenty of money for some of their pet pork projects in the military. Interest rates need to rise if you want to close the inequality gap. The Fed is hurting lower-income people more than helping with ultra-low rates. No wonder they can't afford anything. Higher-income people have investable money where poor do not. Thus higher-income people have benefited from Wall Street's record rise. The world's 500 richest people added $1.8 trillion to their combined net worth in 2020 for a total of $7.6 trillion, according to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Equivalent to a 31% increase. A government with $27.5 trillion in debt shouldn't be handing out trillions in stimulus checks. What are they stimulating anyway? Given the leftist lockdowns, how can the economic activity be stimulated? People think COVID-19 is a crisis. If this is a crisis, how will they react to debt default? I feel like the intentional hysteria, with the lockdowns, social distancing, and all other stuff that is economic suicide is an attempt to time the economic meltdown. Kind of like you would a controlled demolition. Such is one of the evil purposes of the crisis. To extract what wealth remains among the 99.9% and deliver it to the 0.1%. The fiat currency debt-based economy was on the ropes late last year, and this is the only way the 0.1% could maintain their lifestyles of the rich and famous. The bank cartel, the one that imposed this economic system that always fails upon us, is a member of the 0.1%. For their next trick, they will impose complete top-down control of your finances with cash-free digital currency. Negative interest rates. Easy with digital currency, there is no way to escape them. Social credit scoring. Easy with digital currency. Say the wrong thing on Facebook, and your money is frozen, and you can no longer eat or live indoors. With digital currency, the psychopaths in charge are in complete control of every single thing you do or don't do. Between artificially low interest rates set by the Fed for more than a decade now, forbearance on increasing numbers of delinquent mortgages in real estate set to end soon, and the world still entranced in fear of a pandemic, we're heading for a perfect storm that will ravage the world. If you think 2021 is going to be better, you're as delusional as those that put their faith in a return to normalcy through the narrow window of a fast-tracked vaccine for a virus that can hardly kill a healthy human. Usually at this time of year, I am feeling pretty optimistic about the upcoming new year. Now I would be happy for a return to a tiny bit of normalcy, honesty, rationality in markets and life. I am not hopeful. Artificial stability permeating capital markets and society. Enormously inflated balloon, artificial bubble, with trillions in fiat money, insane or non-existent PE ratios. I flipped the monthly calendar over from December 2020 to January 2021 earlier today, and when I did, I picked up a strong impression of people in fear. It appears something is going to happen that will frighten a lot of people in the coming year. I don't know what that might be, and I don't want to know, but something big is going to happen out of the ordinary in 2021 that's not going to be good. By comparison, 2020 was mild to what will happen in 2021. Hope nothing happens, but I'm not at all looking forward to 2021. Get out of the stock market while you can. I predict in 2021 a federal mask law by April Fools, massive refugee caravans breaching the border by the 4th of July, and a proxy war by Thanksgiving. A run on firearms and ammo like not seen before, the financial collapse, they will pull it, and the dollar dominoes will start falling, breadlines and clampdowns, China will move on Taiwan, and FBI incidents will ramp back up. And maybe for a giant meteor to hit the Eccles building. The Great Reset is underway. Thank you, global elite supervillains. While it is not official yet, last month's economic reports show China passed the US for the largest economy. In 2020, China signed huge trade deals with Asian partners, and just yesterday with the EU. China is decoupling from the US, which is an unreliable partner that weaponizes trade. China works to produce what they need. The US, not so much. If we're not already a plantation owned by China, we will be within the next few years. Nixon's trip to China sealed our fate so many years ago. Insanity has been going on for a while. Now we have crimes at the highest levels with the clowns showing their costumes and now ordinary clowns wearing face diapers. When it is a systemic movement away from the moral laws, because, at some point, the source of all blessing allows the clowns to reap what they have sown. Useless and non-functioning minds where logic, reason, and common sense depart and are exchanged for foolishness and futility. 2021 seems to be setting up to be worse than in 2020. It's the banks. They own everything and dictate to everyone what to do. It's Hunger Games. We are the capital, the rest of the world are the districts. We get everything for free. What's the problem? Another year closer to America's day of reckoning. Cut regulations, bankrupt the Fed, go back to the gold standard. Happy and safe New Year, everyone. The end is near. By the end of 2021, you are going to look back on 2020 as the good old days. Buckle up and knuckle down, lads. This was the Atlantis Report. Please like, share, leave me a comment, subscribe. And please take some time to subscribe to my backup channels,